So they don't count as incidences because, well, they're a recurrence. Yes.
Yes, they've already had it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no real kind of numbers on how many people are having that happen.
Again,
now, I don't know. I didn't. This is like really, very kind of surface. I don't know enough about it to be able to speak with any sort of authority. But just reading that alone, like I want to look more into that because it's just hard to believe, and more needs to be done for that. There needs to be a lot more done.
Yeah, and there are cases, and they're coming out in October as interviews of people who had DCIS or some sort of earlier stage, even if it's invasive, but less, just at the very early stage, and did a lumpectomy, and it came back and as a metastatic form later. So it definitely comes back. And if of course you're younger, then you have a longer life ahead of you with high risk of breast cancer in your other breast, for instance, or just metastatic. Let's talk about you again self-advocating for a double mastectomy and not getting it by any chance. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I think that's a European practice and definitely an NHS practice where they do not remove healthy, I guess, breast tissue, which is subjective, I guess. I mean, who are we to know if it's healthy? I mean, your breast tissue was healthy. Your left breast tissue was healthy for 2 years because they just weren't looking in the right place. So whereas here in the US, they're more aggressive with treatment, and they are faster at recommending a double mastectomy. They even do it just to give you perspective and the listeners. They'll recommend a double mastectomy on people like me, who falls in the previvor category of higher risk of breast cancer. So it's a little bit strange, to say the least, that to see the take of the UK on this. And I'm pretty sure it would be the same in Portugal and other countries. I don't see them removing healthy tissue anywhere in your body because of a suspicion. So please tell us more.
So when this all first happened, and they said, the best option is to do a mastectomy. And I, immediately being American and from what I know about it and everything, I thought, okay, well, I want to have my other side done also. And they said, no, the one word, I swear it must be in their textbooks of what they have to say to patients, is the evidence isn't there. The evidence, the science doesn't tell us this. The evidence doesn't tell us that. I remember one person, I think it was a nurse, saying to me, no doctor in their right mind would remove a healthy breast.
Wow.
And me just sitting there already feeling those kind of nerves. And I'm not somebody who has a problem standing up for myself, but I still, when you're in there with these people who are older than you, who are, professionals, I don't know why I'm using quotes, they are professionals. And you already feel like you're wasting their time. You're made to feel like you're wasting their time because of your age. So you already have that kind of going against you. It doesn't matter how confident you are in yourself. You still already kind of have that, oh, am I wasting their time? Am I, I'm young. I shouldn't be here. So there's that. And then on top of that, I feel very American when I'm in there. I hear myself asking them questions, lots of questions, and being, for lack of a better term, enthusiastic about the process and saying, really wanting to get into it and understand it. And then saying, well, this isn't how it's done where I'm from. I want both sides done. Why wouldn't I have both sides done? Because what if it comes back on my other side? And just feeling very American because people kept bringing up, oh, well, it's different in America. We do it differently here, and just kind of very much like on display that even though I've been here for 7 years and I feel part of the culture now, I felt very much not a part of it then. I felt very much like somebody who is kind of just, stranger in a strange land of it, if you will. And it became really clear, especially because of COVID. They said, especially right now, it's not even something that we're going to consider. Some surgeons straight out just won't consider it, no matter what that is at. Like, it is not going to happen. Others will be more open to it. I'm very lucky that mine was open to hearing me out anyway. She wasn't going to do it, but she said, let's do the first one. Let's do this, and then see how you feel down the line. I was still waiting for genetic test results to come back because of COVID, I couldn't get them back in time before my surgery. And I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get the cancer out. So, so that was that. But because of COVID also, and the bigger the surgery, the more weakened your immune system becomes. So they said, we're not going to do the second one. It's just not going to happen right now. And I was really upset about it at first. And, talking to my family about it was tough because everybody in the States is like, I don't understand. Why won't they do it? That doesn't make any sense to me. And so I have the people here saying one thing to me, the people there saying the other thing to me. It's completely conflicting. It's completely confusing, to be honest. Also, kind of what they say here is, well, and it makes sense, in the States, the healthcare systems are completely different. In the States, it's privatized. And so there's money. And whereas here, it's not like that.
Public.
So, the public health, it's just a very different thing. And it's an amazing thing, obviously. But in that regard, they're not looking to spend money excessively, extravagantly. They're not going to kind of just throw it around when they don't have the science and the evidence for it. And I kind of grew to understand that after a while. I came to a point where I said, this is okay. This is what it is. And I can fight it and be upset about it, or I can just kind of accept it for now and know that what needs to be taken care of is being taken care of. And if I feel differently, or if I continue to feel this way, I can really push for it down the line with the other side. And it made a lot of sense to me after a while, because I thought, why remove a healthy breast? Why are people doing that? It does seem a bit excessive sometimes. If you really think about it, if you don't have to do it, then why? At the point that I'm at now, sorry, I can see you want to say something.
I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But
go for it.
So you're an American, but it's interesting because it wouldn't cross your mind. I think that's what you're going to say, to come to America to be treated here because of health insurance costs.
And I know one thing I'm.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Wow.
I know. It was kind of at the point where this is. I'm conscious of the fact that it's a privileged thing to even be able to contemplate, but where speaking to my family, we talk about, well, if it's really not going to happen here and you really want to do it, we'll fly you home and find a way to get it done here. I wouldn't actually do that, but it was still something, being tossed around. I don't even know if that's something you can actually do. But, well, I guess
why not?
If you're willing to pay for it,
medical,
if you're willing to pay for it, you can do anything. But I'll get into that in a second. But I had the surgery done on the one side, and I was completely at peace with it at that point. I thought, what, this is okay. It's fine. My other side is all right. I'll actively monitor it, surveillance, and see where we go from there. And then I got my genetic results back, which I've told you about, which have come back as a variant of uncertain significance of the PALB2 gene, which basically means it's kind of a neither here nor there answer. It's not something you want to hear. Either you have the gene or you don't have the gene, but they tell you, we don't know if it's harmful or not. Variant of uncertain significance means that there's a mutation, but we don't know if it's a benign mutation or a harmful mutation. what they do here, I don't know how it is in the States, is they look at it as benign pretty much. Unless there's overwhelming evidence building up for it to be a harmful mutation, they kind of just say, well, we don't know for sure, so we're going to treat it as benign until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
And we expect you to be okay with that. I don't know how anybody can be okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how someone can say to you, you have this mutation that might be trying to hurt you. It might not be. We don't know. So just act like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way. Sorry, guys. So
Yeah.
since I found that out, and since I've done more research into, statistics of recurrence rates and of another primary cancer in the other breast, especially at my age and with my family history, because I do have a family history of breast cancer, I have decided that I do want to have the other side removed, and my surgeon is okay with that. We've talked in a lot of detail about this, and she is okay with it now. But that said, I'm like, why couldn't I have just done it at once? Why do I have to go and have another surgery now? It's not something I have to go through again.
And NHS would approve it?
It's up to her.
Okay.
It's up to her. It's not like a governing body within the NHS that kind of has to sign off on these things. It really comes down to finding someone willing to do it. So I think because of my age, because of my family background, they're still not really considering the genetics, but I think because they know how much it's affected me emotionally, they will take that into consideration to a point. She looked at some site that kind of determined that my chances of having it happen in the other side are, I think it was like up to 40% above the normal population. So it doesn't mean that I have a 40% chance, but 40% above so that's high enough for me.
That's high.
And so because of that, because it's a moderate risk, I guess probably within the NHS parameters, they do have to consider it. So, whereas if I was a low risk, then they'd probably just be like, sorry, you're out of luck.